going on, folks? Welcome back to another episode of Tackle Tuesday here on Joe Bob's Bass. Thank you all for tuning in, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year's Eve. Today is almost January, December 31st, 2024, and this is kind of my wrap-up of my fishing experiences of 2024 and kind of an outlook on some things for 2025, okay? So first, I guess let's just get into it. Let's talk about kind of my top 3 to 5 favorite lures of 2024, okay? First off, and again, you know, some of these guys, if you've seen the channel, you've probably seen me do singular videos on these, so this is more of an overview. I think I've made... Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've made a specified video on all of these except for one that I just have not been ready yet to do. We will fish it more and probably do that sometime next year. But anyways, first up, guys, is the IMO Kemushi from Geecrack. This one is beat up. I've caught a ton of fish on it. It's missing most of its little frillies there. But the IMO Kemushi from Geecrack comes in a bunch of colors, comes in a bunch of sizes. It comes in a couple different weights, I believe, too, depending on how much salt they put in there, what your how you're fishing it, what depth you're fishing it at, all that kind of stuff. You can see here I'm using a 5/0 screw lock with that IMO Kemushi. A buddy of mine told me to try that out this year. It makes those baits with that screw lock in the end of the bait rather than just on an EWG. That makes a huge difference. You're going to catch more fish than just maybe a couple before you lose that, okay? So by far my favorite, I was throwing this on a spinning setup most of the time, medium heavy rod, throwing it into reeds, throwing it up into pads, throwing it under docks. It skips great. You can whip it across the top of the water. It's phenomenal all-around bait, and I don't know if it's just because it looks kind of silly. It looks kind of like a little turd bait, but it's got those frillies on there, so it super fun to fish. Fish love it, okay? Next up, so actually that is the second biggest fish. Yeah, second biggest fish I caught all year was on that bait right there, that exact same one, that IMO Kemushi in that red color, okay? Third biggest fish of the year I caught on one of these, the good old Roboworm, okay? This is the Margarita Mutilator color. It's kind of a purple-blue. These finesse worms are just hands down the best worm that I've ever thrown. Now, we're talking a finesse worm, right? These are 6 inchers, but most of the time I'm throwing these, I was throwing this with a little circle wacky hook and a O-ring on there, right? Throw that O-ring on there. Sometimes it's a softer plastic. It's a little more fragile. It gives it an amazing action in the water, but using that O-ring definitely helps as far as the longevity and catching more fish with it, okay? Next up, we got a couple topwaters. These were 2 of my favorites this year. The Megabass Pop Max. I really had not thrown a whole lot of poppers this year until I found this. When I found this lure and caught a ton of fish on it one afternoon, it really kind of opened my eyes to the pop game, okay? This one is special because, again, you know, I'm not going to go too in-depth on all these. You can go find the video on this one, but it's got those holes all the way from the mouth to the gills. So what that means is when you're popping it down, it's shooting that water through there, and you're actually getting like a bubble trail. It's going to throw a lot more water, and it's just going to have a really big presence on the water. You can really get aggressive with it and get bit, right? And it was so cool earlier in the spring. Water was super clear up here in Minnesota and most lakes still. And I was throwing it up this bank one day, and I saw this fish just come out of the depth, stare at it. I gave it a little twitch, and he just engulfed it. And it was so cool to watch that kind of an eat, right? And then kind of going a little bit more traditional. Next up, again, caught a ton of fish on this. Caught some smallmouth on this guy this year. I think I lost my PB smallmouth on this lure. That is the Teckle Sprinker frog, okay? And if you, again, go watch the video on this one, but if you haven't seen it, it's a little different. It's your typical soft body toad, but instead of legs coming off the back of any kind, it's got this spinner. So it's almost like a whopper plopper. You can rip it, you can pop it, you can drag it, you can get through pads, you can get through whatever. it's awesome, and it catches fish like crazy for sure, okay? So that's 4, guys, and last but not least, my top bait, my favorite bait that I got to throw this year, just had the overall best time throwing it. I love this bait, I love this company, and it caught me my new PB, my biggest fish of the year. Of course, not in Minnesota, it was down in Florida, bad just about a month ago, but that is the Metro Glide from Throwback Swim Baits, okay? If you're into the swim bait game, you've definitely heard of this bait. If you're not, maybe you're thinking about it, maybe it's too expensive. That all these are valid reasons, right? But that Throwbacks, this is the pink lemonade. Man, guys, this is just the best all-around bait that I've ever fished, and it is so much fun to fish. You can chop it, you can burn it, it's a super slow sink, so it's, ideal, I would say, in those shallower areas around rocks, docks, whatever. But if you cast it out there and you let it sink, it's probably going to get down there a ways before it kind of stalls out, right? I haven't tested that. I don't know how deep exactly it would go, but in that kind of 5 to 10 foot range, this thing is absolutely killer. And it's so responsive to what you're doing, whether you're putting a little rod input in there, you're putting handle turns in there a certain way. I love to give it just half handle turns with my tranks on my swim bait rod, and those half turns just keep that thing not like the KGB, right? It's not gonna just sit in one place and go back and forth, but it's gonna get these real nice little side to side chops, and that seems to have gotten lots of bites on those for me. That is what I was doing when I caught my PB just about a month ago. And yeah, guys, I mean, you can see I've got a couple of them. I've got the pink lemonade here. I've got this kind of bronze back copper shad, I guess you could say. Again, this one I fished a lot more. This is the one I caught the PB on, and just fantastic. The presence in the water. This one I actually like a lot because it's kind of a lighter profile, but it's got that darker back, and it makes it pretty easy to see it in the water, to see what it's doing, and see if those fish are coming up to bite it. And then, of course, we've got the perch as well. Okay, a lot of perch up here in Minnesota. Those bass are eating those perch a lot of the time, so that's a great one to throw. I have actually not thrown this one for more than 10 minutes or so far, so it's mostly been that other one. And I did have a white one, just unpainted, and that thing, the amount of follows from smallmouth I was getting one day was insane. I was fishing super clear water. I was seeing them schooling up, seeing them chase it, couldn't get them to bite, and then bam, it got broken off by a muskie. It was amazing. I thought I was about to have my first muskie. I had the drag locked. It took me under the boat. It broke me off, and that was the end of that. So unfortunately, that one's gone, but we got those there. And that's my number one bait of the year, guys. And if, like I said, if you're hesitating, go buy the Metro, man. It is so incredibly worth the money. It is so much fun to fish, and you're going to catch fish on it. I guarantee it, okay? So we got the Metro. We had the IMO Kemushi. We've got the Teckle Sprinker frog, the Pop Max from Megabass, and the Roboworm. Those were my top 5 baits. Call them confidence baits, call them whatever you want, but those are baits not only that I enjoyed fishing, I caught fish on, they're so fun to fish in their own way, each single one of them, right? And so, yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something new to try, obviously that's where I think a lot of you guys come to these videos, is looking just for new tackle ideas. Maybe you're searching a product because you're already thinking about buying it and you were looking for some kind of review. I try to keep my videos a little less reviewy and a little more kind of just personal experience. But I guess, sometimes they're kind of reviewy. So, but other than that, guys, that's really it. Just kind of wanted to recap some of my favorite baits of 2024 and what I'm looking forward to in 2025. All right, we got the boat. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. This fall, I ended up buying a boat. Super excited. Was able to take it out a couple times. But, caught some nice pike, caught a couple little bass here and there, but nothing crazy on it yet, of course, right? So super, super stoked to get out with the boat this year, guys. Get that thing all set up. We've got some plans this winter yet to get some carpet and other things kind of reworked on the boat. And then it's going to be a pretty heavy swim bait year, I think. And this could change over the next couple months. But I had so much fun throwing the Metro this fall. And I've got, a small array here of swim baits that I'm excited to throw more and learn more about. But the big one would be the soft baits, okay, guys? Whether it's a Huddleston, right? This is the 6.8. weedless 6/8. I've got these 316 Lure Co. These Rising Suns. Again, I bought these probably back in May, and I have not even had them out of the package yet, so super excited to try those. Really excited for especially like the smallmouth fishing either on the river, maybe in this winter, or next year up north in some of those smallmouth lakes, throwing the burrito a little bit more and getting used to that. I've done it. I spent some time with it this year, but not nearly enough. Won't do a video on it yet, obviously, because I'm not sure how you fish it and how you use it to catch fish precisely. So, but excited, super excited to use those lures, guys. Big soft baits is really kind of what we're going for next year. Metro Glide, obviously. We've got this Cadence trout here as well, another big soft bait. What else we got here? We got some of these Quakey balls off-brand from Temu that I'm super excited to try, just because I didn't want to spend $50 for one little soft plastic lure. Sorry. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, just super excited to keep trying new gear, keep trying new tackle, and really kind of hone in on the craft, right? That's kind of what fishing's all about. Every single cast, you've got that hope, you've got that dream of landing that big fish. And, you know, every time you throw on a new bait or a new lure or something, just a new technique, you're starting fresh again, right? And you're learning that. And that's what I love so much about just fishing in general, but especially bass fishing. There's so many little niches within bass fishing, right? So thank you guys. Happy New Year. And when we see you, it'll be 2025. So hang in there. Wishing you the best of luck in 2025. Thank you for liking the videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for leaving comments. I love seeing you guys' comments. I try to reply to as many of them as I can. And that's pretty much it, guys. Go out there, catch some fish, and we'll see you in 2025.